Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone in silence, your mind racing with questions you can't seem to answer? Why did she betray your trust? Why did she make you feel like you were the one to blame when all you ever did was love her? Maybe you thought you were the problem. Maybe you spent sleepless nights wondering what you did wrong. But let me tell you this, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes there are women who just aren't worthy of your love. Maybe you've met one. Maybe you've loved one. Maybe you've given everything, only to watch it crumble. If you ignored those warning signs, if you let yourself believe the sweet lies, you suffered because of it. In the first part of this series, we revealed 6 major signs that should have warned you. But the truth is, there's more. There are even more signs that could make you realize exactly why your last relationship ended the way it did. So here's what I want you to do. Listen carefully. Think about your last heartbreak, about why it ended. Write down the reasons, the moments that still haunt you. Do you see the patterns? Do you see the red flags you missed? By the end of this video, you might finally understand what went wrong and why you're better off now. But I want to hear from you. Take a moment, comment below, and share your story. What went wrong in your last relationship? What were the signs you missed, and what lessons did you learn? And if you want more videos that help you heal, that help you understand and grow from the pain, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Lifeline. This is your journey of self-discovery, and it starts right here, right now. Sign 7. She uses her beauty as a weapon. I remember the first time I saw her. Her smile lit up the room, and when she looked at me, it felt like everything stopped. It was as if time itself was bowing down to her presence. For you, that was the beginning, wasn't it? You were utterly enchanted. It was as if you had discovered a rare and wonderful object. It was hard to look at her and not be captivated by her stunning beauty. However, you started to notice the changes gradually. It was her ability to use her attractiveness to achieve her goals, not only her smile, that drew you in. Initially, it posed little threat. All it took was a few kind winks, a gentle touch, and some words of encouragement to lift your spirits to new heights. However, such expressions began to backfire on you after a while. Feeling like you were only another admirer in a long line started creeping up on you. You were never sure if she would stay by your side or dump you for someone better. She had a way of keeping you on the edge of your seat, wondering whether you were good enough. Have you ever been in a situation when she knew her glance could captivate you or leave you hanging? Furthermore, attempting to grasp her was like chasing an elusive target. You treated her love like it was something you had to earn, and you were constantly looking for ways to prove yourself. Truth be said, though, allure be damned. Beauty is transient. Although it is a gift, its duration is limited. A woman who plays the power game by using her beauty as a weapon isn't loving. She's playing with fire. Is there a time when you felt fortunate? On those occasions when you had an intense connection with her, or when you believed your charisma had won her heart? Then it hit you. It was always about them, not you. What you could provide her was the main point. The action started when that affirmation was no longer sufficient. Has it ever happened to you? When was the last time you felt like more of a prize than a collaborator? The type of relationship in which you felt like you were in a never-ending race to win her heart? It has the power to devastate you, cause you to doubt your value, and make you ask, was I just another conquest? Epictetus summed it up well when he remarked, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." If her beauty is her first priority, you'll end yourself racing after an unsatisfying pursuit. However, the pursuit must come to an end. Get some distance and think about it. Real love isn't about surface-level things, but about depth. Sign 8. She plays the victim, even when she's the villain. I remember one fight we had. I knew she was lying. I had proof. But in the blink of an eye, she twisted everything. Suddenly, I was the bad guy. In every dispute you've had with her, she always seems to find a way to put you in the wrong, no matter how obvious the truth is. No one could explain it to you. You were the one attempting to clarify yourself 1 second, and she was sobbing the next, expressing her pain and feeling misunderstood. You found yourself consumed by remorse about matters that were completely beyond your control. When you confronted her about lying, did she ever make you apologize for confronting her rather than for the falsehoods herself? It begins with a little, doesn't it? Every time you ask her tough questions, she becomes defensive, makes tiny excuses, and often starts to cry. She has a way of making you feel terrible for yourself and that you're at fault for everything that's wrong in the world. You start to doubt your own recollection of events as she subtly manipulates the scenario. However, let's not sugarcoat it. Something is seriously wrong with a woman if she can deceive you into believing you're the problem, fabricate your lies, and portray you as the antagonist in your own love story. She uses manipulation as a weapon, and you're being taken advantage of. How many times did she break down in tears following a fight, leaving you to feel responsible for her suffering? You felt sorry for her despite the fact that she caused you pain. It hurts. Your belief in yourself and the world around you will be eroded by it. A wise man once remarked, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." It's important to keep in mind that you're under no obligation to believe her account of events. You have no right to forgive her if she refuses to take responsibility of her actions and acknowledge when she is mistaken. How often do you find yourself apologizing for something that wasn't your fault? Has she ever been able to control you in this way before? If so, you should quit now. Regain your serenity. Sign 9. She uses sex as a tool for control. I'll never forget the first time she pulled away. Everything was fine, until I didn't do exactly what she wanted. Then she became distant, and the one thing I used to connect with her, intimacy, became a tool she wielded against me. Love, trust, and intimacy should guide sexual encounters. It changes into something different for certain ladies, though. A tool for self-defense, a way to achieve their goals. Do you recall how, out of nowhere, she would kiss you passionately and then act as if something had gone wrong? You assumed it was only a state of mind. However, as time went on, it became evident that she was using closeness as a means of dominating you. Has it ever felt like she was more interested in what she could get out of you than in you? How would she use that to get you to do what she wanted or make you feel bad about yourself if you refused? You would do everything for her. Your undivided focus, your affection. She was always there for you when you needed her. Yet she disappeared just when you needed her most. For some, sex became a negotiating tool. You couldn't touch her when she was furious. However, she exhibited an intense level of emotion whenever she desired something, whether it a present or attention. Love was not at stake. Relationships weren't at stake. Power dynamics were at play. Like a dog pleading for scraps, you started to feel like you had to earn her love because she made it seem like it was something you had to earn. The harsh reality, though, is that true love is unconditional. There is no purchase price for intimacy. It's a special bond between two individuals who cherish one another. But when you use it to get what you want, it strains your relationship and damages trust. Ask yourself this. Have you ever felt this kind of manipulation? Have you ever had the impression that love was more of a commodity than a given, rather than a shared experience? In such case, you need to find a way to escape. Do not allow someone to take advantage of your vulnerability. That is not enough for you. Sign 10. She constantly tests your loyalty. I'll never forget the day she asked me that question. Would you still love me if I gained weight? Or if I stopped being the way I am? She wasn't asking for reassurance, she was testing me. When you were in a relationship, did you ever feel like she was testing your allegiance no matter how often you showed her how much you loved her? One would assume that after spending so much time with her, she would have a good idea of how much you care. No. She persisted in testing your loyalty despite her attempts to provoke you. The uncertainty she sows, that fleeting moment of doubt. I felt drained, asking questions such, would you still love me if I were different? Or, what would you do if I pushed you away? Would keep you on your toes, since she was constantly wondering if you would remain. You may have had the feeling of constantly having to watch your step because you don't want her to doubt your love for her with just one slip-up. It was all about control, not progress or communication. So long as she could maintain her ability to make you question your own emotions, she was content to test you and see how far you would go to demonstrate your dedication. How many times did she force you to make a choice that put her needs above your own, whether it was your friendships, your work, or your own life? The question, why are you hanging out with them? Why not me? Would make her feel threatened, and you would struggle to maintain a healthy relationship while also valuing your identity. The testing was relentless, and just when you thought you were getting the hang of her, she'd throw a wrench into your plans. These ongoing trials aren't love, at least not in the end. They are underhanded. She isn't convinced of your love because she doesn't trust you. All she wants is affirmation that she is still the dominant partner in your relationship. But in your heart of hearts, you know, right? A lifetime of self-promotion isn't possible. Trust, not constant betrayal, is the foundation of loyalty. You should stop wasting your time with a lady who can't even believe in your love for her. Because genuine affection emerges organically in the simple things and doesn't need continual affirmation. Sign 11. She makes you feel like you're not enough. I remember when I started to feel like I wasn't good enough for her. No matter how much I did, it was never enough. I worked hard. I gave my best. But she was always pointing out the flaws, always finding something else. How many times have you tried your hardest to make her happy, yet it was never enough? You could always count on her to make you feel inadequate. She looked unsatisfied no matter how much you tried. She seemed to always find fault with you, no matter how much you loved, cared for, or attended to her. It was exhausting to hear her say things like, I wish you were more like him, or you always do things wrong. You began to doubt your value, to feel inadequate, and to wonder whether anything was really wrong with you. And the comparisons? I won't even begin. To bring you down to her level, she would make comparisons to her ex or other people in her life. You felt your self-esteem slashed every time she remarked, well, my ex used to do this for me, or I used to get this when I was with someone else. You couldn't help but think, why am I not enough for her? However, the reality is, I needed you. All I need is you. If you've ever felt inadequate, know that it wasn't your fault. Her poisonous love beliefs and anxieties were to blame. In love, there is no room for comparison or perpetual discontentment. Rather, there is room for development, acceptance, and mutual regard. You did an excellent job. To the best of your ability, you loved her. But when someone consistently brings you down, you have to ask yourself, why do I keep letting them devalue me when they don't even treat me right? Remember when her remarks made you feel like you couldn't breathe because of all the self-doubt they caused? That was unjustified. Feeling inferior was not anything you deserved. It's about time you take back your self-esteem and confidence. Sign 12. She doesn't respect your boundaries. There were times when I said no, but she wouldn't listen. She pushed me, tested me, trying to get me to do things I wasn't comfortable with. I'd say, I need space, and she'd get angry. But then, I would feel guilty, like I was the one who was wrong for needing time for myself. When you finally had to say something like, I need space, or I'm not comfortable with this, did she ever listen and continue pressing anyway? She has no regard for personal space. Although it's simple to claim that partners in a relationship respect each other's space, in practice, this turns into control when one partner ignores your physical or emotional needs. Your independence is strictly forbidden. It is forbidden for you to have any kind of personal viewpoint. She uses guilt trips to get you to do what she wants, and you can't even say no when you need something. Ever felt like you had to put your own needs on the back burner to make her happy? You were afraid that speaking out might cause the relationship to end, so you remained silent. To the contrary, on the inside, you were progressively dying. However, you should know that setting limits is perfectly acceptable. You don't have to feel bad about saying no when asked. In a good relationship, neither partner is always trying to get the better of the other. Mutual regard is the bedrock. This isn't love. It's manipulation if she doesn't know how to respect your limits and is always attempting to influence you. Let that sink in. That one time you caved to her demands despite how wrong it felt, that one time you felt bad about demanding space. So much for love. That was command. Plus, you should have better. If you feel disrespected whenever you tell her no, then perhaps it's time to stop responding with yes. Get your power back. We value your opinion. Stand firm in your limits. Your opinion counts. More than just warning signals, these experiences teach us the value of respecting ourselves, loving others, and being true to ourselves. With any luck, you've probably been here too if you're watching. Just know that you're not the only one. No amount of manipulation or games can buy you true love. It is not necessary to validate or test it constantly. It's all about progress, decency, and generosity. Keep in mind that you may make room for a more positive and fulfilling love narrative the minute you let go of these harmful practices. The question to ask is if you are prepared to move on from the past and into the future. Simply said, you are deserving of love that celebrates you rather than one that diminishes you. Conclusion. There you have it. 6 additional indicators of a lady who is ignorant. You wouldn't be alone if you thought any of this seemed familiar. In the realm of love, we have all erred. However, the true error? Choosing to disregard the red flags. A dumb lady shouldn't be able to break your tranquility. Watch out for your heart. Exit the room. To get more Stoic advice like this, like, comment, and subscribe if you thought the video was helpful. And I want you to tell me which of these indications really spoke to you. Message me in the space provided.